Today we are going to have a special lecture. Why? Because today is a special day. Today is the Constitution Day of India that we celebrate every year on November 26th. So today is going to be a special lecture and the topic on this special day shall be Introduction to the Constitution of India. और इसे हम संविधान दिवस के रूप में भी मनाते हैं. ओके सो जो आज का टॉपिक है इसमें हम जो चीजें कवर करेंगे, सबसे पहले मैं आपको ये बताऊंगा कि व्हाट वी विल बी टॉकिंग टुडे. आज हम पहले तो ये बात करेंगे कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, जिसको हिंदी में हम बोलते हैं संविधान, ओके, ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन होता क्या है. ओके हम ये समझने की कोशिश करेंगे कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है क्या. आफ्टर दैट वी विल बी ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड द इंट्रोडक्टरी पार्ट ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया. हम इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को इंट्रोड्यूस करेंगे. देन विद इन दैट वी विल बी हैविंग द बैकग्राउंड ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन डेवलपमेंट, कि जब हम इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को इंट्रोड्यूस करेंगे हम भारत का जो संविधान है उसके इतिहास के ऊपर जाएंगे. वी वोंट गो इनटू द डिटेल्स ऑफ द हिस्टोरिकल डेवलपमेंट, लेकिन हम इस लेक्चर में आई जस्ट वांट टू टेल यू व्हाट एक्चुअली हैपेंड or what are the circumstances under which the Constitution of India was developed. And finally जिस चीज के ऊपर आज के लेक्चर में सबसे ज्यादा फोकस होगा और that will be an analytical part also, वो होगा the preamble, जिसे the soul of the Constitution भी कहा जाता है. Okay, the preamble, in addition to that the philosophy of the Indian Constitution, and finally out of that preamble and the philosophy of the constitution we will try to understand the nature of the Indian state. Okay, यही कुछ चीजें हैं आज हम इनके ऊपर बात करेंगे. So first let's start with the understanding of what is constitution. Okay, तो आज first of all I would like to give you a definition or it's a kind of understanding. और उस अंडरस्टैंडिंग को मैं आपको समझाने की कोशिश भी करूंगा कि that will tell you what is the relevance of the constitution. Basically constitutions are the scripts in which people inscribe the text of their professed identity and destiny. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि constitutions basically एक ऐसा स्क्रिप्ट है जिसमें जो उस कंट्री के लोग हैं वो अपनी जो आइडेंटिटी है और जो अपनी जो डेस्टिनी है, मीन्स जो अपना फ्यूचर है उसको उसमें लिखते हैं. दे राइट डाउन हु दे थिंक दे आर. उसमें वो ये लिखते हैं कि वो क्या सोचते हैं कि वो कौन है, व्हाट दे वांट टू बी, कि वो क्या चाहते हैं, and the principles that will guide their interaction along that path in the future. और ऐसे संविधान जिससे जो उन्हें गाइड करे कि उनका फ्यूचर क्या होगा. So that is what the constitution is. Okay, तो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि संविधान एक ऐसा स्क्रिप्ट है जिसमें जो कंट्रीज हैं वो अपना प्रेजेंट, पास्ट एंड फ्यूचर तीनों को एक साथ देखने की कोशिश करते हैं. ओके, सो दैट्स व्हाई कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज सच एन इंपॉर्टेंट डॉक्यूमेंट फॉर एनी स्टेट. ओके, नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द मेकिंग ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. ओके, इन जनरल देखो हम सभी को पता है कि जितनी भी वर्ल्ड में कंट्रीज है, स्पेशली द डेवलपिंग वर्ल्ड, most of them got independence after the second world war. सबको दूसरे विश्व युद्ध के बाद ही सबको इंडिपेंडेंस मिला. और सेम इज द केस विद द इंडिया. ओके, और उसी टाइम सभी ने ये सोचा कि उनको एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन डेवलप करना है और वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन किस टाइप का होगा. ओके, उनकी एस्पिरेशंस क्या होंगी, उनकी नीड्स क्या होंगी, उनके लोगों की रिक्वायरमेंट्स क्या होंगी. ओके, इसी बेसिस के ऊपर सभी कंट्री ने कोशिश किया दे विल बी डेवलपिंग ए कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. लेकिन आई थिंक इट इज वेरी रेलेवेंट टू से हियर दैट many of the developing countries it was very difficult for them to implement what they actually thought. Means कि it proved a bit difficult task for the new nations to implement their constitution into their state. Okay, under these circumstances the Indian constitution was also developed. But when we talk about the Indian constitution, I would like to tell you that Indian constitution basically provides one of the contrasting example, one of the striking example that works, that actually not only tells about कि जित स्पीड से हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बनाया गया और जितना वो कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन था, इन एडिशन टू दैट कि जो हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मेकर्स ने एक ड्रीम किया था, द काइंड ऑफ इंडिया दे वांट टू हैव, द डेमोक्रेटिक स्ट्रक्चर, द पार्लियामेंट्री डेमोक्रेसी दैट द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मेकर्स वांटेड टू हैव इन इंडिया. India was very few countries in the developing world who were successful in having a parliamentary democracy. Okay, और जब हम ये बोलते हैं कि Indian Constitution is one of the successful constitutions, तो ये बात करते हुए हमें ये चीज का ध्यान रखना है कि Indian Constitution का इतिहास क्या रहा है. What was the historical background of the Constitution of India? The background of the constitutional development of India and the making of the Indian Constitution. और जब हम इस constitution development की बात करेंगे, what we will be trying to do, we will be basically more or less talking about the certain facts, the certain statistics. Okay, see, all of us, we know that Britishers came to India in the beginning of the 17th century and they came here as traders. Okay, but what happened is that things changed after 1765 when company got Diwani rights, that is the right over revenue and justice of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. This helped them to acquire property in India. जब ये हुआ, then it led to certain changes. Okay, और जो Indian Constitution का development हुआ, वो हम इसी background में देख सकते हैं कि from 1773 to 1858 we witnessed 6 regulating charter acts in India, जो कि कंपनी के रूल के टाइम पे यहाँ पे अडॉप्ट किए गए थे. I will just tell you the names of those charter acts. मैं उनकी डिटेल में नहीं जाऊंगा. So they were the Regulating Act of 1773, Pitt's India Act of 1784, Charter Act of 1793, Charter Act of 1813, Charter Act of 1833, and finally the Charter Act of 1853. जो ये 6 charter acts हैं, this happened during the company rule. लेकिन हम सभी को पता है कि what happened in 1857. There happened a revolt. Okay, there happened the revolt of 1857 brought a big change in the British rule of India. What happened is that कि जो कंपनी रूल था, it was replaced by the crown rule, and after that various government of Indian acts were framed from 1858 to 1947 when we got independence. So ये कौन से acts थे? These were the Government of India Act 1858, Indian Council Act of 1861, 1892 and 1909. Then we had the Government of India Act of 1919, जिसे हम एक और नाम से जानते हैं, जिसे बोलते हैं Montague-Chelmsford reforms. Montague was the Secretary of the State and Chelmsford was the Viceroy of India. इसके अलावा दो और important acts थे. They were the Government of India Act 1935, जो एक बड़ा ही इंपॉर्टेंट एक्ट है, जिसने हमारे जो मेकिंग ऑफ द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है उसमें एक बहुत ही बड़ा रोल प्ले किया. एंड फाइनली द इंडियन इंडिपेंडेंस एक्ट ऑफ 1947. 1944. So all these acts play a great role in the formation of Indian state, but the last two acts, especially the Government of India Act of 1935, it played a great role. So after this, I will just briefly talk about, since I am talking about the facts only, the making of the Constitution of India. Basically, it was M.N. Roy who put forward the idea of the Constituent Assembly for India in 1934. In 1935, Indian National Congress for the first time demanded Constituent Assembly to frame the Constitution of Independent India, and it was in the August of 1940, the British government accepted this demand. Okay, finally the Constituent Assembly for the formation of the Constitution of India was constituted in November 1946 under the scheme formulated by the Cabinet Mission Plan. So finally, from December of 9th 1946 to November 26, 1949, November 26, 1949, remember this date, the Constituent Assembly had 11 sessions over 2 years, 11 months and 18 days, and the constitution makers had gone through the constitution of almost 60 countries while the framing of the Constitution of India. Therefore, it was on 26th of November 1949 the Constitution of India was adopted. और जब वो अडॉप्ट किया था हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, उसमें क्या क्या चीजें थी? देयर वाज ए प्रीएम्बल, 395 आर्टिकल्स एंड 8 शेड्यूल्स. ओके, सो दिस वाज अ बिट अबाउट द मेकिंग ऑफ द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. ये कुछ फैक्ट्स थे जो हम इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के ऊपर हम बात कर रहे थे. अब इसके बाद एक इंपॉर्टेंट एनालिसिस है व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द मेकिंग ऑफ द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. देखो, जब इंडिया कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बन रहा था ना, उस टाइम पे जो इंडियन जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बना रहे थे उनके पास कुछ चॉइसेस थी. उनके पास अलग अलग चॉइसेस थी कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन किस तरीके का बनाया जाए. और जैसे मैंने आपको स्टार्टिंग में ही बताया कि व्हाट इज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, और उसमें हमने ये बड़ा क्लियरली बात किया कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन will tell you about your past, present as well as future. Okay, so इसीलिए जो constitution है, it is such an important document for any state. Okay, so the constitution maker had the alternative political choices. वो क्या क्या choices थी? एक कि institutions, should the institutions development जो इंडिया में हो, should they be based on the ancient model, जो कि इंडिया एक, we all know that India is having the ancient roots also. So first the option was the institutions based on ancient models. दूसरा उनके पास ऑप्शन था, should it be based on adult franchise and the rule by ballot. लेकिन इसके साथ साथ उनके पास कुछ चैलेंजेस भी थे, जिसमें ये था कि हाउ द पुअर एंड द इलिटरेट मासेस विल सस्टेन डेमोक्रेसी. ओके, और इसी के ऊपर देयर वर सम फॉरेन थिंकर्स दैट दे यूज्ड टू टेल दैट कि जो इंडिया है वहां पे डेमोक्रेसी कभी सक्सेसफुल नहीं हो सकती. क्यों? क्योंकि वहां पे अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट, इलिटरेसी है, पॉवर्टी है, अंडर डेवलप्ड कंट्री है. ओके, एंड finally the other option was that the needs and the requirements of the modern society. And finally जब वो constitution बना रहे थे तो there were some debates also in the Constituent Assembly that is democracy that जो the framers of the constitutions are seeking for, is it a foreign concept? Okay, तो इसमें जब ये सारी डिबेट थी तो finally they discussed so much about that. And finally, what one of the members said is that the adoption of the democratic institutions is not going to compromise the Indian identity, and the Indianness shall remain intact. So that's how the constitutional makers were able to adopt the parliamentary democracy under the cabinet form of government. Okay. Besides this, whenever we introduce the Constitution of India, okay, जिसमें हम अभी हमने बात किया बैकग्राउंड ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, लेकिन जब भी हम कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की बात करें, एक हमारे लिए सबसे इसेंशियल चीज आती है, दैट इज द प्रीएम्बल ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. ओके, सो द प्रीएम्बल इन दिस फाइनल सेक्शन हम क्या करेंगे, वी विल बी हैविंग एन एनालिसिस ऑफ द प्रीएम्बल. इन एडिशन टू दैट we will be talking about the basic values of the Indian Constitution. So एक एनालिसिस होगा प्रीएम्बल का, और कि कौन कौन सी बेसिक वैल्यूज हैं हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की. ओके, फर्स्ट आई एम गोइंग टू रीड द प्रीएम्बल ऑफ द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन दैट वाज अमेंडेड इन बाय द 42nd amendment and came into force on 18th of December 1976. Okay, so preamble in its present form reads, we the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign socialist secular democratic republic and to secure all its citizens justice, that is social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and the integrity of the nation. So in our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution. So this is the preamble of the Constitution of India. Now we will have the analysis of this preamble. See, here we can see it starts talking about it is having the four main segments. These are we the people of India. ये क्या बात करता है? It shows the source of authority. And who is the source of authority? The people of India. Okay, then after that it says that to have India into a sovereign socialist secular democratic republic. So this basically talks about the nature of the Indian state, कि जो Indian state है उसका nature क्या होगा. Okay, besides this, after this, the next section of the preamble talks about the objectives. Okay, the objectives of the Indian state and government, that is to bring justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. And finally, the preamble talks about the date of the adoption, that is 26th of November 1949. Okay, so that's why we celebrate it as the Constitution Day. And today we are having the 72nd Constitution Day. So therefore, preamble includes, in a nutshell, it includes sovereign state, that is India, republic democracy, political justice, or political justice through what? Through adult franchise, economic justice. और economic justice हमें constitution में कहाँ मिलता है? In the directive principles, in the part 4th of the Indian Constitution. Then we have social justice, and social justice we find in the part 3 and the part 4th of the Constitution, like Article 17 है right against untouchability, and there are many articles in the directive principles also that works to bring social justice. And then another important part is the liberty. Okay, that includes in the part 3 of the Indian Constitution, especially the Article 19, liberty of thought and expression. Okay, so this part 3 of the Indian Constitution elaborately talks about the liberty. Okay, and then we have the equality Again, that is in part 3 also and part 4 also of the constitution. And finally, fraternity. That fraternity we find in the part 4A. और 4A कौन सा है? Fundamental duties. That is included in the article 51A. Okay. Besides this, preamble also talks about the dignity of the individual, socialism, secularism, and one of the other important thing, the promotion of international peace, and it is included in article 15 of the Indian Constitution. That is part 4th. Okay. So finally, the Constitution of India embodies the preamble of the Constitution embodies the spirit of Constitution, the determination of the Indian people to live in a democratic society, and preamble also provides a kind of horoscope of our sovereign democratic republic. Okay, I hope कि जो हम ये preamble का एक analysis है, एक by part करके हम जो इसका understanding कर रहे हैं, I hope it is understandable for all of you. And finally, this also talks about the basic values of the Indian Constitution. Okay, so the basic values of the Indian Constitution includes the goal of the government, जो हमने अभी preamble में भी बात किया, the justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. Then the other basic values to have socialist and secular state. Besides, we have a federal union that says that India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. Union of states. और ये कहाँ पे है? Article 1st of the Indian Constitution. And finally, we are having a parliamentary democracy. और while telling you about the parliamentary democracy, और जब हम ये भी बात कर रहे थे कि जो हमारे parliament, the framers of the constitution, there was a debate in the constituent assembly कि क्या इंडिया को parliamentary democracy की तरफ जाना चाहिए या presidential democracy की तरफ. Okay, but finally the framers of the Indian constitution stick to the parliamentary democracy, and it became one of the basic values of the Indian constitution. So I hope कि जो हमने Indian constitution की बात किया, you have understood that, or I think this provides a overall broader understanding of the Constitution of India. Thank you.